Coming up, it's been more than 24 hours since a fire swept through Bluegrass Stockyards, and as you can see behind me, there's still plenty of smoke filling the grounds.
There ain't even paint on nothing that you can tell what color was anything over here.
Bluegrass Stockyard wasn't the only company hit hard by that fire yesterday. Several others were also destroyed.
And while crews battle hot spots at the Bluegrass Stockyards, others warn nearby neighborhoods about their air quality, how the fire is now affecting the air.
This is WKYT News at 6.
Firefighters plan to be at this scene for days. They are now cleaning up the mess the fire at the Bluegrass Stockyards left behind. You are looking at some of the most recent video from the scene, and we are right alongside firefighters as they continue to investigate yesterday's massive fire. Thanks for watching WKYT on the CW Lexington. I'm Kristen Kennedy. That fire started around 2 yesterday afternoon on Lyle Industrial Avenue. Firefighters are still there tonight, putting out hot spots. We're told the flames destroyed close to 10 acres of the stockyards. WKYT's Mike Beyer went out there today to get a look at the damage. He has our top story at 6.
It's being called Lexington's biggest fire in nearly 30 years. This is the aftermath. All the fire left behind at the historic Bluegrass Stockyards are piles of rubble, white smoke, and disbelief.
It's catastrophic, not only from a historical perspective, but operationally, it's going to be a lot of heavy lifting here for a while.
COO Jim Akers says, fortunately, the company is computer-driven and all of their records are backed up off-site. He says this will allow them to handle other top priorities.
Our main concern at this point, communicating with our employees and our customers to make sure we've got everybody taken care of.
With that said, they have expanded sale dates at some of their other facilities. Akers says Mount Sterling will pick up Lexington's sales on Monday and Tuesday starting at 8:30 in the morning. He says the stockyards were also set to host a bred heifer sale this week. That is now scheduled for Thursday evening at 6:30 at the Richmond facility. It's been more than 24 hours since the fire first began, and Major Walton says they're still dealing with several hot spots.
At this time, we have the fire under control. We're just hitting the hot spots.
While firefighters continue to work around the clock, they're still trying to figure out what caused the massive fire.
The investigation crew will be out here looking at different things. At this point, it's just taking care of the small fires that we still have left.
As firefighters and other workers join forces to help pick up the pieces, Akers says this isn't the end of Bluegrass Stockyards.
We'll be back up and running probably quicker than most folks realize.
In Lexington, Mike Beyer, WKYT.
The fire at the Bluegrass Stockyard spread quickly. Flames and smoke damaged 5 other neighboring businesses. WKYT's Sean Moody continues our team coverage.
This strip of pavement separated the Bluegrass Stockyards from other businesses as yesterday's fire grew.
And then I was like, okay, the fire's just going to stay over there. It's not going to cross the road.
But it didn't take long to realize that just wasn't going to happen.
Within 5 to 8 minutes, I mean, it was burning the cars on the outside of the gate, so I knew it was over.
Dwayne Hogan's run Slim's Towing right across the street for about 9 years.
This was my livelihood. This was for my investment, for my family. I got a son getting ready to go to college.
But now every car on the lot is destroyed.
There ain't even paint on nothing that you can tell what color was anything over here.
Some of them were as workhorses.
Yeah, but that's one of my wreckers. It's burned to the ground. Both of these rollbacks burned to the ground.
Others had special meaning.
Yeah, it was my toy, my 86 Fox body.
He says the towing industry here in Lexington's kind of a brotherhood. They may compete with each other, but they'll also support each other.
I've got my truck stored at Metro Towing right now, so they open their doors. Bluegrass Towing, Lee Roberts called me. He said, if you need a truck, he said, I'll throw you a truck out there to help you going until you get things going.
It's hard to say exactly how many cars are here on this lot, but it certainly looks to be more than 100. Dwayne's not exactly sure what his next step is going to be, but he's relying on that support.
There's no telling how much work Dwayne and other business owners here have ahead of them.
And nothing's going to come out quick, you know what I mean? It takes time.
Dwayne's just taking it one step at a time.
I don't know what's next, but I do know God has a plan, and I guess, all things happen for a reason. So I don't really know what's next, and I'll just have to wait and look forward to see what happens next.
In Lexington, Sean Moody, WKYT.
As firefighters continue to battle those hot spots, leaders with the Kentucky Department of Environmental Protection continue to keep an eye on the air quality. This afternoon, crews say some of the nearby neighborhoods tested positive for slightly elevated levels of fine solids. Firefighters are asking people with chronic respiratory problems who live nearby to stay inside their homes. Firefighters are planning on working in the area for the next several days. Remember, you can keep track of all updates on the massive fire on our website, WKYT.com, and with our WKYT News app. Yesterday's fire also knocked out power to dozens of Kentucky Utilities customers. Today, KU crews restored power to all on Lyle Industrial Avenue. Around the same time, power went out on Lyle yesterday. A second power outage on busy Nicholasville Road caused about 7,500 customers to sit in the dark. That outage was because of a transmission blowout. It took hours for crews to restore power. Several businesses had to close for the night. And one of those businesses was the Fayette Mall. Mike Linden is talking to mall leaders about the closure.
Following a power outage all over southern Lexington, Fayette Mall officials made the decision to close the mall for the first time in its history.
Fayette Mall officials say the mall lost power just after 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. They say due to the lack of power to lights on Nicholasville Road and in the parking lot, they made the decision to close almost 5 hours early. This led to most mall shoppers all leaving at the same time, which made for major traffic delays from the parking lot all the way toward New Circle Road. For those working inside when the power went out, they say this is the first time being sent home from work due to a power outage.
I thought maybe the power bleed and it would come right back on like it does sometimes, just a glitch, but it didn't this time.
Mall officials say after closing all of the stores in the mall at around 5:45, power was restored at around 6:30. In Lexington, Mike Linden, WKYT.
KU crews say the cause of the outage was a fire at a nearby substation next to Shiloh Park. One person died in an overnight crash in Lexington. Around 3 this morning, police say a car slammed into a pole near the intersection of Lane Allen and Harrodsburg Road. Police say the driver died at the scene, and the coroner has not released the name of the victim. 2 men are recovering tonight after an explosion at a Pike County home. Shelby Valley volunteer firefighters say the fire happened on Robinson Creek Road around 5 Saturday afternoon. Firefighters believe the men were working on a motorcycle when the fire started. Both were severely burned, and firefighters say the homeowner's pet died in the explosion. And in Montgomery County, firefighters are investigating a deadly fire. One woman died yesterday in the fire at her home on Camargo Levee Road. Crews rushed the woman's husband to UK hospital with firefighters say serious burns to his face. The coroner has not yet released the names of the couple. We traded in the cold for the wind. This last day of January feels a lot more like the first day of spring. We are tracking some rain moving in tonight. WKYT meteorologist Jim Caldwell is tracking chances for showers.
Yeah, it has a very spring-like feel, and look outside as well as we've gone through most of the day today. You can see what it looks like back toward the downtown area right now. We've been socked in with some of the cloud cover kind of leading out in front of a frontal boundary that will likely sweep into the area tonight, bringing us a chance of a few of those showers. We're at 64 degrees right now in Lexington with that southwesterly wind around 11 miles per hour continuing to pump in that very, very mild air that we have in place. You know what? Throw the word mild out. It is warm out there. 60s showing up all over the place. Louisville, 67. You go down the road into London, 62, 61 Mount Sterling. But we are tracking some showers just to our northwest. You can see those trying to come together along that boundary. What this boundary is going to do is it's going to take a bite out of our temperatures initially. So as we go through the overnight and into the day tomorrow, we'll watch temperatures drop through the day. But the big story here as we go moving forward and the focus of the forecast, tracking a severe weather maker into the area for Tuesday. That has all of our attention, and we will take a closer look at it coming up in just a few minutes.
Republicans say Kentucky Senate will take what could be a final vote on an abortion bill this week. Senate Majority Floor Leader Damon Thayer says the Senate is scheduled to vote tomorrow on whether to accept the State House's changes to a bill amending the informed consent law. The House-passed version would allow real-time video consultations between doctors and women at least 24 hours before an abortion. The Senate voted earlier to require face-to-face meetings. If the Senate approves the bill, it will go to Governor Matt Bevin. Still to come on WKYT on the CW Lexington. The deadline to sign up for health insurance is looming. We'll tell you how much time is left to file before you face a penalty.
Have you ever heard of floating to relax? An NBA star does it, and now you can in Lexington.
You essentially can't see anything.
WKYT's Sam Dick shows you a new way to unwind in a hectic world. Floating to relax, Monday at 6 on WKYT.
It's tax time, and Quality Tax Service is giving away free cash. It's time to break the bank. Your favorite tax service provider is giving away $100 bills. Just bring in your ID and W-2 to any Quality Tax Service location and walk out with $100 cash today. Quality first. Do it right the first time with QTS.
I always wanted to be the lawyer who represented the little guy, the underdog, the powerless, the voiceless, and to have a chance to even the playing field. What we all want in life is two things. We want purpose and peace. The great thing about the work I've done is I've woke up every day with a purpose. And because of the work I've done, I think I've had peace.
Here in Vineland, home of Progresso, we figured out how to get rich ingredients like bacon into 22 light soups. So if you want 100 calories or less per serving without giving up rich flavor, do what we do. Make it Progresso.
Look at this sweet face. So sweet. Okay, we're gonna need a napkin. Gooey, flaky, happy. Toaster strudel.
At Golden Law Office, not only do we have extensive trial experience with large jury verdicts in Kentucky, we have resources and insight to handle cases that involve catastrophic injuries and death. At Golden Law Office, our results and resources allow us access to world-renowned experts. Remember, we handled cases for insurance companies for over 25 years. They often value your case based on the attorney you hire and the experts you retain. Put our experience, resources, and knowledge to work for you. Call us today for a free case evaluation.
Get your maximum refund guaranteed with Quality Tax Service. QTS will get you every credit and deduction you qualify for. Fast service, no hidden fees. With over 25 years of experience on the largest refunds guaranteed, or it's free. Do not wait. Quality first. Do it right the first time with QTS.
Stay connected to the news that matters to you. Follow WKYT on Twitter. Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with meteorologist Jim Caldwell.
You know, even though we had the cloud cover out there today, very nice end to the weekend. And it was nice yesterday as well, weather-wise, just a little more cloud cover out there today compared between the two. Right now, still running in the mid-60s here in Lexington. Same thing in Richmond, Frankfort, just very pleasant temperature-wise anywhere you go, especially considering that this is the last day of January. We're talking 60s throughout a big chunk of the area. A little bit of shower activity is starting to grow closer and closer to us. You can see it starting to light up along the radar there across parts of Indiana and on upstream as well. You get into sections of Illinois, into Wisconsin, Michigan, all seeing the showers because we have a frontal boundary. This front will press through the area and it's going to take our temperatures down. So we'll lose some of our warmth into the day tomorrow, so we're going to be a little bit cooler into the afternoon and evening. But all eyes will be on this system developing as it rolls out of the Rockies and across the plains here in the coming days. That is going to be the big-time weather maker that swings across Kentucky and brings us rounds of showers and thunderstorms, severe weather, a possibility going into Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's what happens with our first front, the first part of this, I should say. Frontal boundary sweeps through, cools us off tomorrow, still very pleasant, upper 40s, low 50s during the afternoon and evening. But then the warm front will surge back to the north going into Tuesday, and that has a lot of warmth and a lot of juice with it as well. You need warmth, you need the instability, you need the moisture, all of those things to get severe thunderstorms going. And you've got a big-time weather maker, a frontal boundary, something to lift all of that. You got it. That front will swing through here late Tuesday night, going into Wednesday morning. You see that line of thunderstorms trying to come together. I'm still not convinced we won't see a few isolated out ahead of this that could be rotating as well, and just rotating thunderstorms, meaning they've got that characteristic with them, and maybe some stronger thunderstorms attached to those as well as the front sweeps through as we head into the early morning hours on your Wednesday. Right now, we're under a slight risk to see severe weather across Kentucky at that point. Watch temperatures drop overnight. They never really recover into the day tomorrow. We're likely in the low and mid 50s in many spots, and even a few upper 40s for daytime high or for afternoon readings. Our highs will occur very early. We look at our severe weather threats, and we are under that slight risk across central portions of Kentucky. There's a 7-day forecast, and we're tracking that a little more widespread through the 7-day. And you've got the chances there on Tuesday, and some of it lingering into Wednesday. Wednesday's going to be another one of those days like tomorrow, Kristen, where we'll probably start off around 61, around midnight-ish, and then temperatures will drop through the day. Could end as a few flakes Wednesday night going into Thursday morning.
Well, that seems to be pushed back, because I know you were talking a little earlier yesterday.
Right. Good call and good catch, because it's slowed down just a little bit, meaning we're going to get it a little bit later now.
Thank you, Jim. Okay. Kentuckians still needing health insurance have just a few hours left to get coverage. Those who don't sign up through Connect by 11:59 tonight face a penalty when they file tax returns. To sign up, you can visit Connect's website or go to one of its 2 retail locations, the Fayette Mall in Lexington or Mall St. Matthews in Louisville. After tonight, the only way to buy health insurance on Connect is if you have a major life event like a marriage. Lee Kay's in next with sports. The Kentucky women's basketball team faced Florida today.
They did. It's been a tough 10 days for the ladies, and they would meet a big challenge this afternoon in Gainesville. And the UK men's team took Kansas to overtime, but didn't make the plays down the stretch that they needed to. That's next in sports.
I just can't wait to meet you. Sweet child, you're on the way. I'm filled with expectation, and you're growing every day.
You've upgraded all your old technology. So what about this? It's time to get into the new with Ford. New lets you see around corners. New gives you a hand when yours are full. New can practically park itself. New is Ford, America's best-selling brand. Now get into a new Ford Escape with 0% financing for 60 months, plus $2,000 trade assist cash. Only at your local Ford dealer.
The mission is simple. We stop Vandal Savage here in the past and we save the future. The mission is simple. Here in the past, simple. Vandal Savage saves the future.
Didn't Rip say something about not messing with the timeline?
You're screwing with history here, man. I am a god!
Simple don't mean easy, Captain.
Oh, I never said it was.
DC's Legends of Tomorrow. New hit series this Thursday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
Serious fire threatening many businesses near downtown Lexington.
This fire has just been going on for hours. Acres worth of damage here.
Smoke could be seen as far away as Louisville.
What that looks like on radar to a normal person would be, oh, there's a shower. That is the smoke plume itself.
This was a very old historical building. A lot of memories. We'll rebuild. We can do it.
There are places very close to the fire that they protected. They obviously kept it cut off going down this way. A lot of effort.
I'm so sorry.
Your father's death was a suicide.
Our dad would never do this. It is a mortal sin. You treated him like he was a failure.
He knew I was ashamed of him.
I think he knew you loved him.
I say he's dead because of you.
A new Madam Secretary, then.
Are you out of your mind, Mrs. Florick?
Do you have any guns in this apartment?
A new Good Wife after Madam Secretary, CBS tonight.
No one will be happier to see January in the rearview than Matthew Mitchell and his UK women's basketball team. The past week and a half have been tough for his squad. A 1-point win over Tennessee serving as the only bright spot. Today, the 12th-ranked Hoops team at Florida beginning the stretch of 4 of their next 5 games on the road. Kentucky would trail by as many as 10 in the first half. Here come the Cats. Alyssa Rice gives Kentucky the lead. Florida was up by 6 at the break. In the fourth, Florida takes its largest lead. Elena Kristinaki lays it in. Gators up 71-59. Under 3 minutes to go. Wildcats still playing from behind. Michaela Epps with the steal, and the score cuts the Florida lead to 5. Epps was at the free throw line with 44 seconds to play. She made the first, misses the second, but Evelyn Akator puts back the rebound. 79-77. 20 seconds to go. Florida up by 4. Epps drives. She had 27, back to a 2-point game. Following a Gators free throw, Cats inbounding down 82-79, but the pass is stolen by Kristinaki. She's going the other way for the hoop and the harm, and that would do it. 85-79 the final, a second straight loss for UK on a season-high 30 turnovers.
It's my job. I've got to do a better job of creating an atmosphere in practice where we just have to make good decisions against pressure. But Florida plays real hard, and 30 turnovers is really not very good.
For John Calipari, it all comes down to winning plays. Following Saturday's overtime loss at Kansas, Cal said his team still hasn't learned how to win, and it's his job to teach them. There were 8 ties or lead changes in the final 5 minutes of the game. Kentucky's largest lead was just 2. The Wildcats had a chance to win it on the final play, but a rare turnover by Tyler Eulis sent the game into overtime. Calipari says his team missed on some of those winning opportunities down the stretch, and Kansas didn't.
You know, the play where Tyler rebounded that ball with 2 hands and got knocked over, and they kick it out for a 3. Big play, but he had to make it. Had to make that shot. Tie game at that time with us having the ball would maybe different, but they made those plays, and it's a heck of a college game.
Well, there is no question who is the leader for this group of Wildcats. Tyler Eulis playing all 45 minutes of an overtime game. That's the first Kentucky player to do so since John Wall in 2009. Eulis scored a career-high 26 points in the loss, dishing out 8 assists and committing just 2 turnovers. Calipari said, "We were relying on Eulis too much, and we couldn't get him a break." Now, it was Eulis' 9th game this season with at least 20 points and 5 assists, the most by any Wildcat in any season. To put that in perspective for you, Kyle Macy and Jamal Mashburn each had 7 20 and 5 games in a season. The last UK player with 26 points and 8 assists in a game was a guy named Jack Givens in 1976. Eulis is the first Wildcat with at least 4 assists in 14 consecutive games since Sean Woods in the 1990-91 season. And while we're on the subject of Sean Woods, his Morehead State Eagles team came out on top of an OVC showdown with EKU on Saturday night, 70-67. EKU had a chance to tie or win the game on the final play, but Javante Hawkins' shot wouldn't fall, and the Eagles limited the Colonels, one of the best three-point shooting teams in the OVC, to just 1 of 17 shooting from deep.
You know, on the road, you're not going to shoot a high percentage a lot of times. And but defensively, we got some key stops, some key rebounds, and we limited them to 1 for 17 from the 3. You can't do no better than that against this team.
These losses just suck the life out of you. They suck the life out of me as a coach. They suck the life out of these guys as players. They start getting the darkness of doubt in their mind. With a minute to go in the game, here we go again. Until we break through, there's always going to be that doubt. But we had a chance in the last play to win it, or to go into overtime, and it didn't happen.
Boys championship at the All-A Classic this afternoon. Cordia going for their first ever basketball state championship, facing Murray. Malik Henry working inside for 2. The big fella gets the friendly bounce. Cordia led 24-17 at the half. Third quarter now. Kareem McDonald drains it from the wing. McDonald had 11. And then it's the tournament MVP, Anthony Nelson, driving in and scoring. He led the Lions with 14, and let the celebration begin for Roderick Rhodes' team. Cordia claims the All-A state title, 62-45. Big win for those guys.
They looked happy. We'll be right back with a final look at weather.
Here in Vineland, home of Progresso, we figured out how to get rich ingredients like bacon into 22 light soups. So if you want 100 calories or less per serving without giving up rich flavor, do what we do. Make it Progresso.
You say avocado? Old El Paso says zesty chicken and avocado tacos in our stand and stuffed tortillas. You say stand and stuffed tortillas. Old El Paso says start somewhere fresh.
Keep your word, don't lie.
Tenacious.
Who do you think you are?
Bold.
You want to try and tell us the truth now?
Decisive.
You can't do that.
Hot bench.
Now you're pleading ignorance. Is right. You.
Why are you looking at me like that? In this courtroom, there's 3 sides to every verdict.
It's true.
Hot bench.
Weekdays at 4 on the CW Lexington.
To stand for Kentucky in a weather capacity is a huge responsibility for me because I feel like our climate is so unique and it can lead to so many different things. When weather conditions get dangerous and we call a severe weather day, I'm standing for everyone in Kentucky who can hear my voice at that moment. And that includes my family and everyone back home I care about as well. I'm WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey, and I stand for Kentucky.
Mondays are golden on the CW.
Yay! That is so true.
Gina Rodriguez is the 2015 Golden Globe winner, and Rachel Bloom is the 2016 Golden Globe winner for Best TV Comedy Actress.
So, who's crazy now?
Don't miss the CW's award-winning leading ladies of comedy.
We are good person.
You duplicitous minx.
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend and Jane the Virgin. All new Mondays starting at 8/7 Central on the CW.
Tuesday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $63 million, and Wednesday night's Powerball jackpot is $112 million. Got some rain in the next couple of days.
Rain, warm temperatures, severe weather, snow. I mean, everything you want to. If you could go to a weather store and pick it off a shelf and say, I want a little of this, you got it right there, because you're 50 tomorrow afternoon. Your official high will probably happen around midnight. Then you get up to 70 on Tuesday. Some folks might even be warmer than that, and then we crack snow and storm.
If I went to the weather store, I would return Thursday through Sunday.
I think so too.
Thanks for joining us on the CW Lexington.